Hello, welcome back. I'm Ed Pluchar with another mini real estate lesson. Today is the question of, is it better to go ahead and buy new for the home you want or to fix up an existing home probably that you're living in? So the scenario might be like this. This is actually my family growing up. This is what we faced was we ended up having 5 kids. I think this is when there were 4. And we were simply outgrowing the size of the house. So the question was, do we build an addition to the house or move to a bigger house? So that's a scenario that may be fairly common. There may be other reasons for wanting to fix up or move. So the way to deliberate this, I would suggest, is first to decide location, right? That's the primary focus of real estate, and the house you have now versus the house you would buy or you might potentially buy. Where are they, and which location makes more sense? Are there any fatal negatives? Are you itching to get out of this location for one reason or another? Or if you did move over there, does it have any fatal flaws to it that you would make it intolerable for one reason or another? Location is the thing you can't hardly do anything about. Or maybe something you're about to do something about. Second, but I think right up there, 1, 2, right? They're not, one's not more important than the other, but budget. So buying a new home can and will be expensive, especially if you've got a wish list and you're trying to notch all those things on your wish list and hit them all. That can be quite the unicorn. So you may have a hard time finding that, or you may have to pay a premium to get it. Whereas you have a blank canvas now, so just what would it take to build on or remodel or modify in any other way the home you have now, because you don't have to pay any more the purchase price, you simply have to pay the fix-up price. Both of those, what's interesting is both of those will break down to a monthly cost. So you most likely are carrying a mortgage now. If you do a refinance or however you're going to finance that remodel, what is your ongoing monthly burden, I'll call it a burden, monthly payment you're going to have to make that happen? How much out of savings are you going to have to dip versus, because you're going to need a down payment and things like that, versus how much are you going to have to dip to get that new house, plus what is the new monthly payment going to be? All considerations to take into account. A few other things. One is that you have to make sure if you think you might stay and fix up, you got to check with your municipality or county and make sure the things you plan to do, would like to do, can be done. Depending on especially if you're going to expand the footprint, if you're going to make the house, build another foundation and make the house bigger sideways, that certainly triggers the need for a permit. And some counties, based on your lot lines, may or may not let you do that. So it's worth checking out. And if you can't expand your house and you need an expansion, maybe that answers the question for you. A couple other questions I'm just pulling. This is actually from a U.S. news article, which is very, very well put together. Another consideration, which is sort of a hidden cost. If you're figuring costs, you're going to want to figure this in. But if you're figuring costs and you're only looking at mortgage payment and cost of renovations, a hidden cost may not occur to you right away is, what are the new property taxes? You know what your property taxes are where you live. You may want to check if they're going to change, though. If you add a bedroom, bathroom, square footage, your assessor may look at that and say, great, now we can tack on another, I'm making up a number, $500 to your taxes every year. See what would happen if you do make the renovations you plan to make. Likewise, if you're going to buy another house, is that in an area that has higher taxes or lower taxes? And that should figure into your financial picture altogether. The last thing is, not the last thing, there are many considerations, but the last thing I want to mention is, how long do you plan to live in the house? So whether you buy new or fix up what you've got, how long are you going to be there? And that kind of tells you what you should look for as far as a payback period. So in commercial real estate, payback period is when you spend money on a new piece of equipment that will save you money, energy costs, maintenance costs, whatever, and eventually pay itself back. That happens far less in residential property because you're just not getting the same use out of equipment as you are in commercial. But the point being, if you're talking about an energy saving project, or if you're just thinking, well, it's going to cost, again, throwing out numbers, $100,000 to fix this house to get it where we like it, and that's going to tack on $600 to our mortgage, $700 to the mortgage, versus if we just go buy a new house for $50,000 more and we've got it. This is back to the financial picture, but we've got it for $250, $300, even $400 a month extra than we're paying now, but $200, $300 less than we might be paying if we fix this house. Which one has a better payback period? Obviously, it's that buying a new house in that case. But these are very, very, very general, very general guidelines, and useful for getting started. But if you need help digging into the details, if this is something you're considering and would like to kind of lay the cost side by sides and other considerations as well, please give me a call at 815-931-2279. I'd be glad to help you out with that, and thank you for tuning in.